Right, I'm ready to become champion of Kirkwall. Okay, go find this cargo. There you go. I'm ready for the next one. Go beat up some mercenaries in the town centre at night. Okay, go. Go find some ingredients for Anders. Okay, when do I get the interesting mission? Well, you get a couple of companion missions, and you get to face a High Dragon. Towards the end of the game. Why are there so many shitty side missions? I just want to face the High Dragon now. This game left me thinking, was this a side game to the universe that it's built on? Then I realised that this is an actual sequel to the masterpiece of Origins. Ugh. That's when I was like, really? Those of you who adored Origins will probably be disappointed in DA2 like I would. You've got to massively curb your expectations. And know that you're getting into something different. Dragon Age 2 is an action RPG what was made by BioWare and published by EA back in 2011. It's a sequel to DAO, unfortunately. For the campaign, it starts off when Varric is dragged to a dark room to tell his story about the champion, in other words, Hawk, and how they become champion of Kirkwall and the conflict between the mages and the Templars. When Hawk was there, when it all went down. So it begins when you and your family are fleeing from the Blight just after the Battle of Ostergal, when the Blight attacks Lothringen, while you and your family are escaping from the Blight to Kirkwall. I like how it entwined the two games together because that's one of the first places that you actually visit in Origins. In my opinion, DA2 has a weaker story compared to its predecessor. This one is split up into 3 chapters. I like the fact that you can import your story from Origins and there will be slight differences to the campaign, what can add to the replayability, and there will be little teasers to the campaign of past characters. And be prepared where Varric does exaggerate the story now and again, what I thought was nicely done.
There's no end to them.
Bullshit. That's not what really happened.
Does that not match the story you've heard, Seeker?
You play a character called Hawk who can be male or female. I chose to go with the female Hawk than the male one because I couldn't stop laughing at his voice acting. If it was a comedy game, I would recommend going with the male Hawk, or if you just want to laugh.
Perhaps we'll be lucky and they'll run out of Darkspawn.
Here they come. Shall I give...
You can also customise Hawk to a certain degree, although you have to play as a human character. For me, that's a massive step backwards from its predecessor, so I just went with the default Hawk. the start of the game, you get to pick what class to play as: warrior, rogue, or mage. Each one is unique to each playstyle. I recommend playing as the mage, where you are more involved in the story, where the tension is building between the mages and the Templars. The controls are easy to get used to, and the tutorial is short and sweet. I thought the combat is better if you're playing it like an action RPG. It's faster and more intense. However, if you're hoping to play it with a fragment of strategy like in DAO, I think you're mainly going to get fucked, where you can't zoom out, and other times they do what the fuck they like besides on what you command them to do. You can still pause the game in combat and look around. I'm glad that they left that feature in, even though I didn't really use it as much as I did in Origins, where you can't zoom out anymore. There is slowdown in combat when there's a lot going on. It happens quite frequently, and it can become very annoying how often it happens, except on the PC version. I didn't get it on that. There's very few interesting fights, and you can keep on using the same old tactics on near enough every fight, and it can become dull and repetitive, where every enemy acts the same. There's no different fighting styles. They just do the same shit over and over. Even though if they look different, they're still doing the same thing, so there's really no need to change it. The skill trees are more user friendly. You get an idea of what they are just by looking at the logo, especially if you're a dyslexic fucker like me. There's less interesting magics like turning into a spider or a fucking demon spider or a demon bear or a normal bear. There's just nothing like that here. Characters will level up with you even when you don't use them. The option is there for you to auto level up or go old school and go through it manually. What I thought was a good idea for the newcomers to the RPG and for the experienced players as well. One of the things that I disliked was the customised companion's armour. You can't change it. You have to find their armour pieces in the shops and around the maps at certain acts. Well, I just found lazy and uninteresting. At least you can change your character's armour and find all different stats on them. At least they left that in. I felt that there was more choices in Origins than DA2. It's more of choose Hawk's personality, and they replaced it with the traditional dialogue with a dialogue wheel. What seems very familiar to Mass Effect. Instead here, it's Diplomat, Joker, or being a Git. Where the fucking hard choice is that? When I found that out, I didn't really pay much attention to what I was choosing. It felt like a massive step back again from its older brother, like poisoning the urn of sacred ashes. If you want anything meaningful like that, like shit, I can't believe I've just done that, at the moment, it's just not here in DA2. Another thing I dislike was this new friend/rivalry system. It makes me feel bad when I get them on arrival. The normal difficulty is way too easy. I didn't have to think on much on what I was doing. I kept on playing with the same old tactics over and over until I upped the difficulty. Very few fights were challenging. I recommend playing it on the hard setting to get that challenge out of it. If you've got a short attention span like me, there's one thing what's going to drive you crazy. There are so many load screens for a single city. I can't believe it. Going to Hangman, load screen. Go outside to Load Town, load screen. I got pissed off on how many load screens there were. The map is centered in a single city and some outlying areas of Kirkwall. And there's a day and night cycle. What felt like padding to me, there wasn't enough diversity between them. Apart from the night cycle has more of the same generic bad guys to beat up, and the day cycle is for shopping. It's more linear than its predecessor. There's no need to explore. You'd be going around the same old cave or reuse areas over and over again. I was done exploring after about an hour. Maybe 2 would be pushing it. Yeah, we need to get rid of all this red just to make the cave look different. Yeah, I think that do. I think that the redesign of Flemeth is brilliant. I dig the new look. Too bad that she wasn't in more of this game. Her voice actor shines. I clinged on every word what she says and wish that Flemeth was actually a romance option compared to the companions that you get to choose from. Well, none of them are my type and I think they're dull, but Flemeth, she stands out. Come on, I can't be the only one. There's less interesting companion characters than DAO. You've got an elf who seems a bit clueless most of the time, who does puzzle me on a number of times on what she comes out with. Then you got the other elf who hates mages for a good reason, and then there's Aveline who can beat the crap out of anyone who's more of an authority character. Then we got Elizabeth the pirate who likes to sneak things, amongst other things what she likes to do. Then there's Sebastian, who's really dull, almost making me fall asleep every time. Oh, fucking hell, they really need to write his character a bit more. And then we got Carver, who acts like a spoiled brat at the beginning of the game. And then there's Bethany, who's a golden child, who does everything right. And then we got Varric, who's the best character in the party. They seem to be more fleshed out, where he jokes and tells stories and likes to drink. And there's one more I have to say. And why can't I hit Anders? I think a lot of us would enjoy that. I know I would. I hate Anders. He never shuts up about being a mage. The character is way too depressing. I try to avoid him at all costs and trying to... pretend that he didn't exist. I like the design of the Canary. They look like their own thing now, and you can see a bit into their culture. And meeting the Arashok for the first time, I was like, wow. And you also learn about the Talbashok and how they hate each other. I like how they implemented that. It was better than Origins in that regards to the Canary. It explained a lot more of their culture. Now on to the puzzle in Discovery. I don't like the redesign of the Darkspawn. They look like fucked up lizards in DA2. They look much better and scarier in DAO. The voice acting is a hit and miss. You're going to notice from time to time some really bad accents. My biggest disappointment is there's only one really good cutscene, and it's right at the beginning of the game when Flemeth turns into a dragon and burns the Darkspawn. There's not really any other cutscenes apart from that what gets you engaged. Like Origins did at the Battle of Ostagar, or when you build your army, there's no epic cutscenes like that. Graphics have been improved from Origins, mainly on the characters. That's what I noticed first of all. The soundtrack to the game is repeated of Origins. I think there's only a few new ones, but nothing that sticks out like the Darkspawn theme out of Origins again. Yeah, I can still remember that right now. For how long the game is, it's around about 25 to 30 hours long. And that's doing a lot of side missions. Other words, I mean almost all of it. So it's a decent length if you can push yourself past the side missions. And I've got to mention that the trailer to this game is awesome. It's better than the actual game. Now we get to the DLC, Legacy. It's more story based, evolve around Malcolm Hawke, your father. The Carter dwarves have attacked you and your sibling for some reason, so you go after them. It adds new Darkspawn enemies with shields, so you have to change attack style a tad. And a bit more demon variety. It goes more into the Warden's story and new areas to explore with a light puzzle elements to it and new dungeon-ish things. I've got to say that I've got a game crash at one point during playing this DLC. It crashed. Right, I'm bored. Thank fuck there are new areas and not the same old reused areas over and over again. Or I would have stopped playing and probably screamed at the TV. I found this DLC alright, not nothing special though. At least with this DLC you get a unique weapon, the Hawk Key, where you can customise it to the way you want it. Now on to the next DLC, Mark of the Assassin! This one does seem a little bit out of place and a bit shoehorned in. However, I actually enjoyed this DLC. It introduces a new character, Talis, who's well voice acted and is an interesting character and well performed. The problem is she don't stay in your party. It's only for this DLC, which is a shame. Although it is a bit rushed into a DLC mission. It's like, hi, I'm a thief, help me steal this thing. And Hawk's like, yeah, okay. I enjoyed the hunting game at the beginning. It introduces the Wither and you get to meet a childish character what just made me laugh.
The Ferelden turnip. They say you are a champion of some backwater city in the east. Quite an achievement, I'm sure. I suggest you run along with your servants while you have the chance. This wyvern was mine to kill, not yours. Mine! 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 I paid good coin to be the one who wins this contest. It was my turn!
Oh, I didn't realize the Duke was offering charity to his more useless guests. My mistake.
I will not accept such talk from a backwater mongrel.
You do realize this woman has nasty little thugs like you for breakfast, I hope?
Only when we're out of pancakes.
I also liked it when you were at this party and talking to the people. Some of it can be seriously over dramatic. What made me put my hands over my face in embarrassment.
Can I help you?
I've been stung by a bee. I think it's swelling. Maker, am I dying?
The swelling is almost as big as your head. Don't just stand there, man. Do something before it's too late.
If I die, make sure the world knows. I died at Chateau Haine!
I've got to give it to the developers. You can tell they were having fun with this one. And it has a new gameplay element. Sneaking around if you choose to, except I couldn't be bothered to do that. It's there just to be an option. I like the new enemies, the Wither, and these little weird troll things. It was a welcome to get something new like this, and I enjoyed the last boss battle because it made me think on what I was actually doing. Only a bit. I wasn't on autopilot. I enjoyed this DLC more than the game. For me, this game doesn't feel like it's finished. It's like a huge chunk is missing from Hawk's story. When I got to the end of the game, nothing ended up resolved. If they didn't charge full retail price for this when it came out, I would have gave it a 7 out of 10. Nevertheless, because they did charge full retail price when it was released, it drops a point to a 6 out of 10, a good game. However, this score is for the game, not for the DLC. I don't think that I would return to it again, not like I did with Origins. There's nothing for me to go back to. You can't make big changes in the story. Everyone's story ends up roughly the same. The only big difference is if you get the brother or the sister, and if you take them on the Deep Road expedition. So have you played Dragon Age 2? What did you think of it? Leave it in the comments below. Until next game, I'm fucking off. They changed your dog from a companion to a summon, and this could be very useful in battle when you're a bit overwhelmed.
Why are you looking at me? I've been running since months ago. Not to interrupt, but Brag's not going to wait while we stand here posing fingers. Me.
They're really, isn't he?
Then let's go. Lead on.